Today's lesson is about the base of what started civil rights, segregation. Segregation is the separation or isolation of a race, class, or ethnic group. This specific segregation was a series of laws called Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws were named after an African American character in a TV show at the time. The Jim Crow laws affected all American states, not just the South, who were included in slavery, but all states. If the laws were broken, it would impose legal punishment upon those who broke them. These laws were enforced from the 1880s to the 1960s. Here are some of the Jim Crow laws created to enforce segregation in America. Nursing. White female nurses could not assist African American males in any hospital, private or public. Buses. For any bus station, the ticket and waiting rooms had to be separate. White people in one room and black people in another. Restaurants. It was unlawful to serve African Americans and white Americans in the same room of the restaurant. They had to be seated in different rooms and could not enter through the same doorway. Marriage. A white person couldn't marry a black person, and a black person couldn't marry a white person. Education. African American children and white children cannot be taught in the same classroom. Burial. An African American cannot be buried in the same place as a white American. Railroads. There had to be separate cars for white people and black people on the railroads. More on this in my other video, Plessy versus Ferguson. And finally, prisons. All white and black convicts had to be separated in all prisons. So why is this important to the civil rights movement? This is important to the civil rights movement because it is the definition of unequal rights amongst African Americans and white Americans. We need to study the Jim Crow laws so that we can understand why people were uncontent and felt the need to change something. In short, Jim Crow laws were a series of laws that separated races by color. It made people want to change the way people acted towards each other in our nation. And it made a difference of how we act today.